Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We're
Good
back.
day.
We're back because we have more to say. So
That's
you
right.
seen two other recordings where we're wearing the exact same. Yep. We hit stop and then we start another recording. So I don't cut videos at this point. So we record a segment, stop, start again, record a segment so that we have content readily available for those times when Bev and I are living life and we have lots going on. And so we always have content available because we show up every single week with a recording for the last almost 4.5 years, which every time I say that, I'm just like, dang, it's been that long. Get out. I don't even believe it. I'm like, no way. It's not been that long, but it has.
It's been nice. It's been a nice journey, especially when we talked a little bit about the beginnings. And it's like the beginnings where it's like I talk about resisting. I was resisting it. You must have mentioned it so many. Every time we would sit down and have a conversation, like in between clients or in between whatever, it's like the conversations would be so great. And you're like, yeah, we should do this. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll stick that in my pocket, like, whatever, but didn't do it. And it's like all the way up to the time of just doing it. And then the time of where we're at right now, it's been an awesome journey. It really has.
Yeah.
Even though there's been some sad times and there's been some ups and downs, in our lives that we've had experiences, it's still, it's still been a blessing. All of it's been a blessing.
And there's a handful of videos that we did where one of us got triggered and you can see it and
Oh,
you can hear it in our tone and you can see it in our
yeah,
face and we still put it out there because that was life at that time. And
100%. And
here
we're
we
human.
are. We're
We're
still
having a human
friends.
experience.
We're still friends. We're still having conversations. We're still sharing
Yeah,
because those were moments of learning and growing. And in the moment, we hear things that we don't want to hear. And
yeah,
but we know it was something we didn't need to hear, but we didn't want to hear.
yeah.
And um and we take that information, and I know that if either one of us got triggered by the other, conversation comes to the close. I'm not going to say end, but to a close. And then we go and process our stuff. And then we come back together and go, okay, this is what I got. And we process again together. And we've had this great relationship in doing that. And it's and so grateful for this journey over this period of time because it began even before the podcast started, and we've been through a lot, and it's a even wrapping my brain around where we were and where we are, whether it was together or in our own lives. It's just like, wow, look at us go, right? Because it's so exciting. So
It is. It's true. It's true. And it's like recognizing when you're triggered by another person, it doesn't have anything to do with the other person. They just, it's like a light bulb went off in your body, and it's like it's a time for you to look at this now. It's not a time to keep burying it. And it's like we've talked about so many times as we're doing the journey and as we're going through these processes, it gets easier and easier because stuff's not hidden and buried and stuff like it used to be. And so it's being able to look at a lot of those things and then have those experiences and move beyond them, and it's very freeing. Really, all of it's very freeing.
yes, and in that time, Bev and I have remained with our relationship over a period. I don't even know how long it's been. Like probably right around 10 years. Because didn't you say 10 years ago when you did the Reiki or massage, or how long you been doing
Probably
massage?
about 10 years.
And we met, or we connected. We met before that, but neither one
Oh,
of us was
yeah.
in space, but we connected right around the time you got licensed, right?
It was probably not long after that because I started off in Phoenix and I went through aesthetics, so probably about another year after that. So you figure probably about 9 years. Because
Okay.
then when I got here, I kind of reached out because you guys were doing something, and I thought, I don't know what I thought. I was guided. I don't know, and I took that guidance and went that direction, even though I was still resisting things. But it was okay because that was just where I was at, and so it was. We
Yeah.
all kind of had to be a match in vibrational frequency to a point. Otherwise, we would never have come together. So it was all divine. All of it was.
And some of the people that was in the mix of us being connected are no longer in these conversations. Like, not even, I don't have conversations with them anyway. And so had some of, well, that the people that were involved at that time, that there was discord, and those relationships for me basically ended, and Bev and I stayed connected. So even though there was discord from those relationships, the outcome is this dynamic, incredible relationship. And so we don't always see in the middle of chaos the gems, the outcome, the rewards. I feel, because of so many different aspects of experiences that I've had in my life, I look back now and it's incredibly amazing how every one of those experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, contributed to me being where I am now within myself and with my relationships. And so out of the discord, there's look for the incredible changes that are being revealed. And we can even take that not just in our own relationships, but in the world, that there are, you may perceive it as bad, horrible, wrong. You might be perceiving that, but that's because that's what you're focused on. But if you think about, man, what good is going to come out of this situation, and then watch it unfold, it's a really fascinating story.
It's a surrendering story. It's a letting go story. It's also knowing that when you're changing and you're going through these shifts and you're growing and expanding, that not everybody is going to be there like they were before. Not the same people are going to be there. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a changing thing. And it doesn't mean that they couldn't show up later on, because I don't have conversations. I'm not involved with anybody from our group that was part of the group before. It's because it's evolved, and it's being okay with that, because it's, again, letting go of control. And it's knowing that things are happening and it's just going with that flow, for it's always for the greater good. It always is, because we, in our groups, we no longer have, or our families or any of that kind of stuff, we don't have there's not a connection that can be maintained anymore, because you're not vibing at the same frequency. And if you don't, as long as you just know it and you're neutral about it, you're not putting it as a good or a bad thing, it's just a evolution thing. It's awesome. Because I've heard so many mediums talk about, like, because Alex Ferrari from Next Level Soul is always asking the questions like, how did your life change after you came out of the spiritual closet, or your mediumship closet, or your channeling closet, whatever that looked like. And it's like, yeah, that we did lose friends, but you don't lose friends. You just shift. There's a vibrational frequency change. And it's like, you can't still maintain the friendship. You can try, and then it becomes a struggle because you're trying to control it. But try to maintain those friendships and stuff. It's like, I don't, even for like my own family, for my stepdad, I haven't talked to him for over 4 years. And it's like, it's not, I have a different feeling about our relationship and stuff like that, but it's not a relationship that I vibe with. It's not a friendship, because it's not a friendship. There's not a connection. There's not a vibrational frequency match, and that's okay. But I don't have the same angst or the same hatred, or the same hatred would be very strong, but I'm just using that as an example, because I didn't feel hate towards this person. I just didn't feel that person, I just didn't have the feelings. It didn't feel good. So, but all that's shifted now, and I see things differently. So it's like, a lot of times will say, oh, I'm going to call him up and tell him I forgive him. And it's like, how asshole-ish does that sound? I'm going to call someone up and tell him, hey, I forgive you. And it's not an out, and it's not an exterior job. It's an interior thing. It's an inside job, recognizing and forgiving, because then it's also forgiving myself, because I showed up and contributed in that relationship too. So it's like looking at all these relationships and knowing that it's okay to let them go. You don't have to hold on to them, because it's a familiar, right? just because it's familiar doesn't mean we need to stay in that same place. I mean, if you think about it, you might have been familiar with disease, you might have been familiar with cancer, you might have been familiar with abuse, but it's like you kind of come to terms with a lot of those things and you kind of move on because they don't serve you in any way. There's nothing to learn from them or to grow from them. You've grown from them. And so it's knowing that. I also know that we're all souls and we're all part of the same body, and you can't disconnect. You can't, you can take off the leg, but the energy is still there of that leg. That leg still has feelings. You still feel it. I've, not that I've had that as a personal experience. I've heard others talk about it in the same way, and even through going through massage and how you can mirror their leg in order to facilitate the feeling of that leg being massaged, so that it brings peace to that person's body because the energy is still there. The energy never left. So it's just recognizing there's such a bigger picture, and it's being okay and letting go, and then seeing what that picture looks like later on and not having control over it, because you aren't going to get there with control. You're going to stagnate. You're going to slow things down, and you're going to have a bigger wanting and a desire. This angst will be inside of you to kind of push you forward. And that's kind of a lot of the things that I would say that I felt. You feel, it feels like an angst when you're going through these processes, but it's okay. And it's not going to feel so bad when you just learn to let go of things and be like, okay, I'll see you around. I'll see you around around the other side of the moon later on or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just more peace and ease.
And the relationships serve their purpose. So the discord of the group that we were part of, the discord of your stepdad, the discord of the stepdads I had, was all part of that learning and growing. And the learning and growing is continuing to live in that space of you have to be angry at them or hate them or live with the idea that they criticized you and judged you all the time, and so now you just think you're a worthless piece of shit. And here you are as an adult living your life. You want to be happy, but because you're living by the seeds that were planted from these people when you were little, that you're still hanging on to that in your subconscious mind, and you don't know how to be happy. So what do you do with that information? Well, you watch people who are happy. You read books about happiness. You read books about love and healthy relationships. You listen to people who are coaching these types of things. They have lots and lots of free content on the web now. And so you find the information that you feel is going to help you along your journey and implement it. So you have to practice. You got to practice in order to get better within yourself. If you're miserable and you want to be happy, you have to practice being happy. And that might just mean just practicing, put a smile on your face more often, and then let that smile over time be there longer and longer and longer periods of time throughout your day. And then their body starts to respond to that. So feeding yourself the information that's going to help you shift your energy, your being from what you are or what you have been, and it doesn't feel good, to what you want to be. You find the resources that's going to help you get there. If I hadn't found the resources to pull me out of the anger and the guilt and the shame and the fears and the judgment, if I would have just stayed in that mindset of that's all I am, that's all I will ever be, and there's nothing more I can do, and there's nothing more about life than crap, I wouldn't be here with Bev. There's no way her and I would have connected. Not in this space like we are now. We might have connected in our lower, we'll call lower vibrational emotions. We would have connected there. But if she would have taken the journey at that time, doing what she's doing now, learning about spirit, learning about meditation and channeling and all the things, her and I would not be friends right now, because her and I would not have vibrationally connected anymore. She would have been like, listen, it wouldn't even have been a conversation. She would have just went off onto her own life and doing her own thing, and I would be stuck in my own misery. And so The relationships serve their purpose, good, bad, or indifferent. They serve a purpose, and you get to utilize that information to decide what you want to do within yourself and decide what type of life you want to live and how much joy is incorporated in that life. That is strictly on you and your responsibility.
It's all a choice,
Always.
which is actually probably going to be a big part of the conversation for all these videos that we've done in the last, this is the third one. And it's because everything is a choice. All of the videos maybe we've ever done, it's really always been a choice. It's always been a choice. I can sit here and say, I'm right about something and eliminate hearing anything else. And that's a choice. Or I can be like, I'm right, but there's other views, there's other perspectives, and everybody's right in their own ways. I mean, really, they can they can argue for their own righteousness, but it's like it's just been a journey of surrendering, really surrendering and seeing other sides, surrendering control, surrendering and thinking I know what's best, because I don't know what's best. I only know what's best from what I've learned in this experience, what someone else might have told me that, hey, you need to do this because this. It's being able to let go. You know, one of the things that's popping into my mind right now, I was so much present with my first grandson. I was very present with my granddaughter, and now my third grandchild, my second grandson is here, and I haven't been in every part of his experience. And I've seen how maybe it is because I've not been in every part of it, but he's very flowing. He climbs on everything. He climbs down. I would have been worried about him being hurt, about all these things. So it's like it allows him to have that growth. And then he's teaching me things even when I'm not around him all the time. And I get to see him and I get to have the experience of, you know, even going to visit to pick up my granddaughter, and because my daughter's homeschooling her, but to even be able to sit there and my grandson climb up onto a chair, climb into my lap, turn around and set his back against me, get all cozy and just like sit and snuggle in, or even to climb up when I pick him up and I'm like, oh, hi, and how he'll just lay his chest, you know, lay his whole body into me to have that experience. Before I thought I had to be a part of all that whole experience all the time because I need to be there to plant seeds and I need to be there. It's divine timing and it all happens at the right time. And he's planted seeds within me with this love that he shows up and gives me, and with how he doesn't take anything seriously when someone yells or does anything. He doesn't, it's not serious. The victim inside of me would come out before and be like, that's not right, or whatever. And because what was it triggering was inside of me is something that happened to me when I was a child. But he's just letting it roll off his back. He doesn't really care about that stuff. So as long as we recognize all this whole everything that's happening around us is for us. Really, it's showing us so many beautiful things depending on where we're looking at, depending on what we're feeding. Are we feeding lack? Are we feeding abundance? Are we, you know, are we filling our heart up? Are we feeling like we're being hateful or being a victim? It's like everything's a choice, and every moment is an opportunity to make a choice. Every moment, and we can make a choice to be the one that's controlling all that and then miss out on things, or we can be the one that sits back and witnesses all of it and enjoys it and fills our cups up because it's so overflowing right now, to be able to have these experiences, to be able to watch my kids how they are with their kids, and to be able, regardless, no matter how they're showing up, because they're still here and they're still showing up. So it's like there's beauty that's happening all around us all the time that we miss out on if we're trying to orchestrate and control and facilitate every single thing that's going on in our experience.
And how's that control work out? Like,
exactly. There's no defining words. It's just an action. That was it.
So at my place of employment, there's a lady that works there as well. And over the course of the past couple weeks, I have listened to her conversations outside of my presence. I can overhear conversations with different people. I watch her body language. I listen to the words she uses. And over the past 2-3 weeks, I'm just like, this is a snowball that's going to come and you ain't going to like, I haven't said that to her, but in my own internal knowing, I'm like, oh, she's got some stuff coming and she ain't gonna like it type of thing. But you know, whatever, that's her journey and I can plant seeds. But if she's not in a space to receive the seeds to nurture them, they're just they're just laying on top of the soil with no water. They're just gonna dry up and be done. And sure enough, the other day she sent me a text. I didn't quite understand the text, but I knew it meant in it. She said she was going to be late. And then she put some other stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what this means. Well, she calls me a little bit later and she's telling me and running down a list. Now, this is, mind you, this is by a little bit after 8 a.m. She is running down a list of things that had already happened that morning and she's in tears and it's the worst day and it's everything's bad and horrible. And I'm just like, okay, it is not the worst day. It's not a horrible day. It's a moment in time where there's a little bit of a hiccup and it's okay. So just take a breath. You're just going to handle each segment the best you can. You're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. It's all going to work out. You got to breathe. You got to breathe through it. If anything, you just got to breathe through it. It's okay that you're not. I don't take the day off. Take care of whatever you need to do. You work a lot of hours and it's okay. Take the day. We're going to survive a day without you. I mean, I seriously think that was the worst thing that she was thinking of was she was going to be late for work. I'm like, well, first of all, you're already late. It's okay. And second of all, if you have all this stuff going on, there is no point of you being here at your job. So just go do take care of what you need to take care of. And then that same evening, we had a fun event planned with this organization that I'm in. And it was a lot of fun. It was costumes were encouraged and all the things. And somebody had bought her like a week before a ticket to attend. And so a couple of us asked, are you going to come tonight? And she was just beside her. She's like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll see. And just, okay. Well, she did come and I watched her and she was laughing and having a good time. And then the next day she came into my office and she said, I'm really glad I came last night because I had so much fun and it was really what I needed. And so the difference in her energy was like night and day. She's just a mess wrapped up in all the chaos. And then she went to an event that redirected her focus, raised her energy, put joy in her heart, like laughter and being around like almost like 50 to 60 people in a room, just having a great time. And it just noticing. So it takes sometimes, usually, always anyway, it takes the things that we don't like to really get our attention, to really like we are so in it and so focused that we recognize how much it sucks and we don't want to be that way. And then you have this experience that's so elating and fun and exciting and exhilarating, and you want more of that. Well, you got to practice more of that if that's what you want. And so just tell that story is a little lengthy, but to tell that story so that people understand what you focus on grows. Your language, your words, your body language, your emotions, your thought process. If the world's against you, that's all you're going to talk about. That's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to perceive. And that's what you're going to get. That's all you're going to see. Now, if you said, you know what, this happened, sucked, I don't like it, I want to do something different, and you start doing something different that feels good, that starts raising your vibration and puts a smile on your face, and you're like, I want more of that, I want to keep doing more of that, we'll keep practicing and keep practicing and keep practicing. And then you'll see all the things that are going right, all the things to be grateful for. You'll notice your conversations are different. You'll notice your mindset's different. You notice your physical body is different. You know, your spiritual connection is different, but you got to practice what you want. And either way is okay, because either way, you're going to learn something if you're open to learning.
Yeah. And it's that whole story that you talked about. It's like you can sit and talk about the stuff from the morning, which is another way of saying exactly what you said, and maintain that energy, or you can talk about that the fun you had at that party and how uplifting and how motivational it was and how like that could be your conversation, and it totally don't you forget about the other stuff. It just kind of falls away. It never even happens. It never even. It's like, what was wrong with you the other day? Oh, nothing. Nothing. I don't even remember, but it's like I had such a great night. That's the focus. So it's like whatever you like you were saying, but I'm just saying it a different way. It's or along the same way. It's just what if you want to focus on the good that felt in that same day, how great it felt that evening or how it felt that morning. It's like there are two different zip codes. Like it's two different sides of the planet.
Yeah.
It's like so it can be whatever you want it to be. And like you said, there's no right or wrong. It's not good or bad either way, because either way you're going to evolve and it's going to create an asking within inside of you. The nighttime was such a blast. It's going to create an asking for more. I want more. Give me more of that, please. So it's awesome.
And as she shifted that from the whole experience, and then she shifts into this joyful state, then things start working out. Things got better, and she was more relaxed and enjoying. And so I was a witness to all of that, and it was a reminder for me. And sometimes we need those reminders to be like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. It's not going to turn out well. All right, well, how am I doing that? How is that showing up in me? Have I been doing it? Or it's well, if you do this, you continue this, things snowball and it doesn't turn out well. Am I being intentionally focused with my energy? So it was just, I don't need to have the experience. Just seeing it and observing it, witnessing it makes me be even better with my intentions of, okay, I can continue with the focus of things aren't going my way. This isn't the path I thought I was going to be on, right? Purpose, whatever. Or I can say, you know what, I'm going to trust the process of the universe because everything happens for a reason and I'm here for a reason. And I'm just going to see how this unfolds and be intentionally focused with my energy to practice being more in a joyful state as often as possible and embrace this journey and just see where it leads. Same life, two different perspectives. Same freaking life, two different perspectives. Which one feels better? I'm going to trust the process of the universe and enjoy the ride. Keep my hands and feet in the vehicle at all times because it's going to be amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And it takes you from one joyful thing to the next joyful thing.
Yeah. And the amount of people I've met and the journeys that they're on and the things that are happening and the collaboration, it's just really fun to be a part of all of it and witness it and see things unfolding with a different perspective. So I had to change in order to see life differently. And that's the same for anybody listening to this or living life. You're in a human body. If you want your world to change, you have to change your perspective.
It's true.
And that's the C word. It's a choice.
It's a choice. I like that C word.
I used to get frustrated with it, but now I'm like, oh, that was my choice. That's what I chose. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ride this one out. Yeah.
Because you become neutral to it because you've already learned from it.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
All right, my friends. Do you have any final words?
Make your life great. That's what I've got right now.
We are Amy and Bev, Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Our channel is Amy and Bev Community. We are on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addicts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. We're kind of all over the place and fairly easy to find. We have these conversations because they know they benefit us. This is our own counseling and therapy sessions. And so it helps us. So we knew it was going to help other people. So that's why we've been showing up for over 4.5 years. We have over 200, I think we're up to over 250 videos. And we keep going. And we do this because we know we are beacons of hope and we light the journey, the path for others to know that there is something more and something greater than ourselves that if we choose to tap into it can be actually very fun and playful and exhilarating. And so that is our hope for you, is that you be and do better within yourself so your life is better and you show up better in the world, feeding that energy of lightness and love. So have the conversations with your friends, family, coworkers, people out in public. And if you don't feel comfortable having those conversations, share the videos, share the resources, get their email, find a way to connect with them on social media so you can share the links with them, and be that uplifter for others. So with that, tea time with Amy and Bev, we are grateful and appreciative of your time and energy, and just go out and make it amazing. Choose to make the choice to make it amazing, because that's up to you.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, my friends, we'll see you next time.
Bye.